Hi Ollie,
Hi, Dad.
wanna have a cute crochet cowl just like me?
Sure, Dad.
Hey there and welcome to the Totally First Crochet channel. My name's Thomas, this is Holly, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make such a beautiful And in this video I'm going to show you how to make such a beautiful crochet dog cowl. It's super cute, super easy to make and super fast to make, and it even has a hole in the back to put the ring from the collar through so it won't move while you take your dog on walkies. But before we start, just take a sec to like this video and subscribe to my channel. We both say thank you. Okay, so let's do this. In order to make your dog a cowl just like this, but only in dog size, of course, here's what you need. First up, the yarn. I'm going to use the same yarn that I used for this. I actually used this yarn quite heavily over the past few weeks. I also made myself a beanie of it or a pom-pom hat of it, and I used the same pattern for this like I did for my Santa hats. You only have to skip the part where you then change the color from red to white and back, and just do everything with the same kind of yarn. And of course I made the cowl with it. So the yarn again is from Penguin. It's a French brand. It's called Pingo First, Juste la Base. And let's see, the color or the yarn is called Arlequin, like Harlequin. And if you want to buy it, and they say you need a 3 to 3.5 millimeter hook. I actually did it with a 4 millimeter hook because that way you get this very soft and very cozy feel to it. Same here. I mean, it's very, and it's still very, very flexible. So for this tutorial, I'm going to use a 4 millimeter hook. Here we go. And this is actually also a hook that I bought from Happy Wool, the same company that owns Penguin. And I just had to have it because of the rose golden color. But of course you can use any kind of crochet hook that you have. Then of course you need some, or you need a yarn needle, sorry, to sew in the ends at the end. There are just two, so it's quite easy to do it. And of course, as always, some scissors to cut off the yarn. Okay, so let's get to it. Maybe we leave this here. Then we have the yarn needle, and the scissors we need later. And then let's see whether I can get that beginning part from the center. Or maybe there's another yarn baby getting born. Lately I haven't had any luck with those yarn ends. Where it is? Where is it? So basically the beginning is here, but I feel like it's still stuck somewhere. I'm just going to put this back in and hopefully this would work. So now it's time to like find the start of it. The reason why I love this yarn, or why I love color grading yarn or multicolor yarns, is that you always get a different kind of look. As you can see here, like every stripe almost looks like with another color. Sometimes they change in between, sometimes not. Here you can see it also. And personally, I just love that. It gets this very organic kind of look. It's like the perfection of imperfection, as my previous boss would call it. And this is why I love it so much. And it reminds me so much of the Barbie movie. Some of you have probably seen my reel with the Kennedy. These colors really represent not only the Kennedy but also myself. I just love it flashy and colorful, but of course you can use any kind of yarn that you want to. And now I'm going to start the first round. So for this first round we start again with a slip knot. I do it very basically like this, then pull the yarn in, pull it tight. So let's start with a chain of 26 stitches, and to do that, here's how. You yarn over and pull the yarn through, chain 1, yarn over, pull the yarn through, chain 2, yarn over, pull through, chain 3, and we do this until we have 26 stitches. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. I was like in the zone. And so we start with a chain of 26. This will actually be like that collar part that will get doubled like this. So this will be like right under the chin of your dog. And if your dog has a longer neck, you can always make it a bit longer. Maybe actually I'm going to do 2 more. So now I have 28. That's fine. So you can always decide, once you see it like this, then you feel like, oh, maybe it should be a bit taller or smaller. You can always adjust it. So this is probably where I would then do it. And since Holly has a longer neck, this should be fine for her as well. So now I have 28, and now we are going backwards to finish our first round. We always work in single crochets in the back loop of the previous round, and I'm going to zoom it in for you a little bit, since this is like a bit of a thinner yarn. It's always good to see it up close. Sorry for this one. It's like a little proof of love from Holly. While playing with her, she accidentally caught my finger. And it will take a while to like heal off or grow out, but that's how it is when you have a dog. And now we go back. So we do single crochets in those back loops. So you take the second loop from the hook. This is the first one, this is the second. You go into that back loop, you yarn over, pull through. You now have 2 loops on your hook, and then you yarn over and pull through both. And this you do right until the end. Single crochets. one stitch left. Always watch out for that last one, that you really have it. And our round one is complete. Here's how it looks like. And you always know when you're at the end of the round, when like the yarn end from the beginning and from the round that you just completed are pointing towards the same side. And now what we are going to do is to increase on this side here every round by one. So it's a one round repeat. Basically, you increase your work until you have the amount or the length until you have the length in front that you want to have. And of course, later on, it's the width. So when you have like the Holly's neck size is about 40 centimeters, it's about 15.5 inches. So you take half of that number, so 20 centimeter, and this should be then the length of your project. I can show you better what I mean. It's like when you have the cowl, you take the half of it, the half of the neck size, and this is then always like the increase, half of the size, and then we decrease back right to the start to close it in the neck. And that's what I meant with half of the neck size. So I'm going to increase each round by one until I reach half of Holly's neck size, which would then be 20 centimeters. This almost looks like each round looks like a centimeter. So probably at round 20 I should be done, and then I would have like an increase of 20 stitches right down here. So zooming in, and now we go back into our round number 2, which will then also be like our first increase round. To go into the next round, you chain 1, and then you start again with your single crochets in the back loop, the second loop from the hook, and then make the single crochets. And then again, since we started with 28 and then we came back with 27 stitches, because that last stitch is always like the turning stitch, here we have to do 27 single crochets. So I now have just one loop left, which is this one here, the stitch from the previous round. Sometimes it gets a bit hidden. We probably see it when we now go back. We make our last single crochet right in there. And then to increase, we are actually going to make a half double crochet. And the way to do it is to yarn over, then put the hook into that same stitch like we did the single crochet in. You yarn over again, pull the yarn through. You now have 3 loops on your hook, and then you yarn over and pull through all 3 of them, and this was the increase. Then you yarn over and start your single crochets in the back loops again, right until the end. So, second to last, till we are back from our second round. And here's what I meant, that last stitch from the previous round is always a bit hidden because of that turning chain 1 that we did. So most of the time you just put the hook there and then just press it against it, and usually it finds its way. This is why I love to work with hooks that are not too sharp on top but a bit more rounded, so they find the way through the yarn easily, and then you can always finish your round with the right stitch. So here's what it looks like. Going to zoom it out a little bit for you. So this is where we are. 2 rounds are completed. You start seeing those little bumps here, and you can always count them if you're not sure in which round you're in. Like this first bump here is round number 1, the second bump here is round number 2, and once we have completed the 3rd round, you will see the 3rd bump coming up. Alright, here we go. So we chain 1 and then turn our work and work our way along with single crochets. I will now show you the second increase before I leave you to do it, and then I'm going to fast forward to the half of Holly's neck size. Second to last. Again, that last one is a bit hidden. Just push the yarn in or push the hook in until it finds its way. Just like that. And again, to increase, we make a half double crochet, so yarn over, go into that same loop from the previous round, or the same loop where you placed that last single crochet in it, then yarn over, pull it through. You now have the 3 loops on your hook, you yarn over and pull through all 3 of them, and you already made the increase. You chain 1 and then go back with single crochet, starting with the second loop from the hook, and you're good to go back to finish round 3. Here you can see how the increase works. It has like this little bulk in here, but our bumps where we can see the rounds are complete. They go all through the end, and by making this half double crochet in the end, you get a bit of a smoother edge, which I prefer. You don't have to do it like this. You can also do a chain 2 and then go back, but then you would have like this escalator kind of look, and like this it's a bit more round. So we now go back with single crochets, finish round 3, and I will meet you back once my size of the work reaches half of Holly's neck size. So basically this way, and this then has to be like Holly's neck size. And have fun, enjoy it, don't miss those last single crochets, and I'll meet you then. Welcome back. So I reached the point where I would be at half of Holly's neck size. It looks like this. So later on, this part here will be flapped over. So here we would have the front. It will probably look a little bit like this in the end. And just to be sure, I checked the measurements. as I mentioned before, Holly's neck size is about 38 to 40 centimeters, so half of it would be like 19 to 20 centimeters, and I'm going to leave it here at around 19. For those of you who are more common with inches, it's about 7.5 inches, which would then translate to about 15 inches in total. So this should be fine. So what we are going to do now is to start with our first round of decreases. Here we had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19 rounds. So we are going back basically 18 rounds until we reach the height of our beginning round. We started, just as a reminder, we started off with 28 stitches, or 20 with a chain of 28, and then had our first round made with that one chaining, with that chain one turn. So we had 27 in total, and basically we are going now back this way, decreasing each round by one until we reach to that same stitch count of 28 or 27, and then we are going to sew in both ends from the left and the right together. So now I'm going to show you how to make a decrease. Of course, when we start a new round, we chain one and then go into that first back loop and make our single crochets in it. So everything is the same, and it goes until we have 2 stitches left to work in, and then we are going to combine those two and make it into one. So we have our decrease. So this pattern is really simple. When you start it, you always increase in each round by one, and then once you reached that middle part, you decrease every round by one, and then attach both ends together, and you're done. What I'm going to do for this tutorial, since it's basically or specifically for dogs, when we sew in those side parts or the back part together, I'm going to leave some space there to put the ring from the collar through. So some people use loops or bandanas over the dog collar. So I just want to make sure that you can then also pull the ring from the collar through the cowl, so it won't move around while taking your dog on walkies, and there's no issue from the leash and the collar with the cowl. Of course, you can use that hole in the end or not. It's completely up to you. It works with or without. Since we always have this accentuated front, it's not an issue at all. So just as a little preview for you for what's to come in this tutorial and how to make it more dog related, basically, because otherwise you could use the same cowl also for a child if it goes over the head. But that's all right. Multi-purpose is something I love, which is why most of the patterns and most of the designs I do are always suitable for humans and for dogs. So now we reach the end. There are 2 stitches left. One is right here and the other one is right here. So what we are going to do to decrease is to get in that stitch, pull the yarn through, and then already go into that next stitch, which is always the one that's a bit hidden and tricky to get. Yarn over again and pull through. You now have 3 loops on your hook, and instead of yarning over, you just pull that 3rd loop right through the middle loop, just like this. And now you yarn over and pull through both loops, and like that you just made your first decrease. You can see it here in the peak. Here's like the full round, and here are the 2. Here was the increase and here was the decrease, so we end up being on the same height, and everything else is the same. You make your first slip knot in the 2nd stitch from, or in the 2nd loop from your hook, and go all the way back. I'm going to make 1 decrease with you again, but for that I'm going to fast forward, because otherwise I would just keep on talking. I don't want to bother you with my stories. So see you in a bit before I reach the last 2 loops, or the last 2 stitches from the next round. So see you then. So welcome back, and here we go with another decrease. There just also was a color change, and now I have only 2 stitches left to work in. Then again, pull the hook through, yarn over, pull the yarn through, and then go directly into that next stitch, the hidden one, yarn over, pull through. You now have 3 loops on your hook. Then pull that last loop through the middle one, and then yarn over and pull through the 2 remaining loops, and then again chain 1, and we can go back with our single crochets. And this is exactly what you have to do now, right until you reach the same stitch count like in your first round, and I'll meet you there back again once you're there. See you, have fun. So welcome back to our crochet dog cowl tutorial. This is where I'm at right now. As I mentioned before, I stop at the 2nd to last round, because the last round will be to join those 2 parts together. So when you like put them also next to each other, you have like 1 loop in extra, which is completely fine. If you would do another round here, then the center and the end wouldn't be like really in the center. So we stop 1 round before we would have the actual same stitch count like in the beginning. Here we started the first round with 27, and now our last round stands at 28, which is completely fine, because now we are going to sew those parts together, and we are going to leave spaces here for the ring of the and we are going to leave a space here for the ring of the dog collar. It's optional. You can do it like this, or you can just close those 2 ends together. It's completely up to you. So let's finish it off. And before we finish, or before we attach both ends to each other, we just chain one as if we would turn. Look how pretty this pattern looks. And we are actually going to put the work together like this. And now we are going to sew those together. Okay, so to sew it together, we are going to start again in the back loop from the part in front, and here we would have the stitches from the first round, and we are actually just going in there through those loops from the first round. Then we yarn over, pull it through both, and then simply make a slip knot. And this we now do for 3 stitches. So here's the next one. Go in and a slip knot. Then for the next number 3. So now's the point where you have to decide. You either want to go all the way and close it, or you follow along with me and create the holes for the ring of the collar. And this goes as follows. You go into the next one, and then instead of grabbing the loop from the first round, we just make the slip knot through our piece in front, and we do this for 7 stitches. So this is number 2, this is number 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So here would be then the space, and now we would have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's right here. Right here is the 7th. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're missing 1 or 2. And then we attach both parts together like this. We pull the yarn all the way through both of them, and then again a slip knot. And this we do for the following 7 stitches. This was number 3. Number 4. Number 5. 6. And 7. And then again we do 7 more slip knots through one side only. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So now we have, interestingly, I don't really know why this happens, 4 stitches from the first round and 4 stitches from the last round left. So out of the sudden, there was like one, or possibly the one in the beginning, where we then, or like, where we automatically come back to that point where we have the same amount of stitches in the end. I hope you have the same mystery here. I don't really know why this happens, but it's good that it does, because like that our stitch count works perfectly, and we can work in those last 4 stitches perfectly together. Here we go. And another one. And now we can already cut the yarn. I leave it a bit longer and then yarn over again and secure it. And now you see those little holes here. And now the magic happens. Because now you just flip the work over. You find the spots for the hole and align them. So just to show you, if you would have like a dog collar, you can then put the ring right through while still have the collar on. This is why I made it like this. And now what we can do is we can actually knot them together so they will stay in place. Maybe we just do that. So I can cut a bit of the yarn again. Because like that, I mean, a dog is moving basically all the time. So it does make sense to have like one part attached. And I'm just going to make a double knot, because later on we are going to sew in those ends. So now you have the hole, and once I turn it, you get the finished dog cowl. Doesn't it look so pretty? I mean, I can't wait to see it on Holly. It's so colorful and fun. Here you have like this big opening for the hat, and it will definitely keep your dog's neck warm and cozy. Oh, I'm obsessed. Whatever I do with this yarn, it always looks so cute and so gorgeous. So I'm a big fan of it, of course. So now let's finish it up by sewing in those last ends. And let's start with this one here. Take your yarn needle, and we're going to place it just somewhere in here. Let's even go up. Right through those stitches. I hope you can see it, otherwise I can zoom it in for you. So here we go. And we go back the same way. Maybe through those. So we have like a little difference here. and just all the way through, and then we can cut it, and the next one. It's quite a nice project because you only have those two ends to sew in. Let's see where we can put it. Right here. Maybe through that. And we go all the way back. It's completely fine if you then also go a bit through those yarn strands. Just push the needle through, because that gives it a little bit of extra hold. And you can cut it. And you're done. The dog cowl is finished. It's so pretty. And it's perfectly in line with everything else I made with this super cute yarn. Now here you have the human one, here you have the doggy one or baby one, and the hat. I'm pretty sure next up Holly will say, "Daddy, make me a hat with this yarn." I probably will. Who knows? You will know all about it once I do. I think I still have 1 or 2 skeins of this yarn left, so I probably might really do it. But this will then be another tutorial. So let's put it on Holly. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed making this beautiful crochet dog cowl with me, or with us. And we hope to see you soon again next time. Only at the Totally Fierce Crochet channel. But before we say goodbye, keep on watching, because there's a little extra cuteness bonus for you coming. So keep on watching and check out how to make this crochet dog cowl even cuter. So as promised, welcome back to a little bonus. It's an idea that I actually had yesterday, because when I was at the yarn store, I found those cute little buttons and thought they would look just perfectly on the dog cowl to embellish it and to make it even a little bit cuter. So now I'm going to show you how to add those buttons to our cute little crochet dog cowl. The only thing you need is a yarn needle or a regular needle, and of course some yarn pieces that you had from the work. I'm going to start with the yellow one. And I'm just going to find a spot here and then pull it through. And at this stage I'm going to just make a knot to secure it, and then I'm going to sew it all in. I'm pretty sure you all know how to sew much better than I do. I do it in a very simple way, but I think that's all right for this little extra. So I will do it 4 times around, just like this, and then I am simply going to knot it in the back, and it doesn't have to be super accurate. I make 3 knots and then just cut it right there. Again, it doesn't have to be that super accurate. And here we go. And then we have the heart. I don't know on which side. You can even add more. It's completely up to you how many you want to do. But that way you can easily... Oh, this was wrong. That was the best proof about my lacking sewing skills. And back in there again. Now it gets a bit full in these little holes, but I thought they were just so cute. I couldn't resist. And then I said to my boyfriend, oh, we have to get this. He knows my crazy ideas, so he wasn't surprised at all when I said, let's buy some buttons. And picked the ones with the most flashy colors. And the third, 3 times a charm. And we can cut it. And here we go. So adorable.